this segment, I'm joined by my friend and fellow foodie to share one of our favorite Girls' Night In recipes. This is Monica Radzuski, and our recipe today is goulash with Kopytka. So I'm going to ask for your help. We'll start with the oil in our pan. We're going to start sweating some onions. Get a little bit of color on those. That's what you want, the sizzle, you just don't want the oil spattering on you.
Yep.
All right, well, we have our onions if you want to give them a stir.
Yep.
My contribution to this recipe was the goulash part, and it's kind of Hungarian style, like as if you're going to do the placki po węgiersku. So we're using today a combo of some shiitake mushrooms and then also some cremini. I like doing the two different kinds of mushrooms because they both bring their own various flavors to the dish, and then also it's a textural difference and a size difference. Like the shiitakes are going to be thinner chunks, and then the creminis, they're going to be like a more hearty bite of mushroom while you're eating, and I really like that contrast in the final dish. And the next component is the pork tenderloin, and I like using pork tenderloin in this because it's more tender. It's also a little bit leaner cut of meat, so for anyone who's health conscious. And at this point, really all you want to do is make sure that it's no longer pink on the outside. This is something that's going to stew for an extended period of time, so we're just trying to get that initial sear on the outside of the meat. We're going to begin the stewing process of the goulash. Just add a little bit of liquid so it comes about halfway up. You don't want to completely cover the meat because you want it to be braising. You don't want like a boiling. And then we'll add our spices. Mostly I'm using Hungarian sweet paprika. It has that smoky flavor, but it does have a sweetness. It's not too spicy. And then I am also going to use a little bit of smoked paprika just to give it that extra dimension of flavor. And then some allspice. I'm also adding some vegeta, which is a Croatian seasoning, all-purpose seasoning.
Which is also very popular in Poland too.
Last ingredient, I have 2 bay leaves, just to give it some extra flavor. And then you forget about it for an hour. And over here, I have what the final product looks like. You can see how that liquid has reduced down and it's created more of a sauce. And our pork is nice and tender. And those mushrooms have started to absorb a lot of those flavors that we have in the dish. So the goulash part of this recipe is done. Monica, I'm going to give it to you now to take us through the rest of the recipe.
So the traditional way of doing this is placki po węgiersku, which is you take the potato pancakes and you put goulash on top of it. But what we decided to do is switch things up a little bit and add potato dumplings instead. Make sure your water's boiling.
This dough is great. I love even using it with just leftover mashed potatoes. And you'll combine that with some flour, roll it out into long ropes, and then just cut it depending on like the size. I'm sure like you're familiar with Italian gnocchi, that's going to be a shorter size, whereas Polish kopytka, a little bit longer, because kopytka actually means little hooves in Polish.
It's kind of funny because we're making things with pork. So.
Yeah, we're keeping it consistent with our theme here. I see them popping up. I'm going to grab our bowl for plating.
Okay.
This looks amazing. I could literally just eat this entire bowl right now.
And most people just eat these by themselves with a little bit of butter. So good.
All right, I'm just gonna grab our goulash to put right on top. Traditional garnish for goulash is parsley, but to make ours a little fancier, I did kind of a parsley puree, essentially parsley oil just mixed in with some sour cream, which is a very traditional accompaniment to goulash.
And last but not least, if you want to make things a little bit prettier, we do have flowers that are edible.
This looks beautiful and delicious. Thank you so much, Monica, for your help. And this is our Girls' Night In, Goulash and Kopytka.